attention, please. It's time for the final countdown. The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
And welcome to another edition of Doc's Taking on the Mormish. I am your host, Doc. The clinic is open. We are the cure for the Mopes. Let's go. Hello and welcome everybody to this edition of Doc's Taking on the Mormish. I am Doc, as said before, and we are going to be looking at just how hard-headed these Mopes are. And it is quite interesting when you see and you listen to them just how hard-headed they are. So let's get right into this. Let's go ahead and let's get that video up. Like I said, it is just again, I don't understand it. It's just you listening to them talk, and it shows. So let's go ahead. We're gonna get this video right up in here, and here we go.
No, it may be screening calls because they're so close to 4:30.
Hello, Lieutenant.
Hi, how are you?
Good, and you?
Good, thank you. I was calling for two cases. Can I give you the case numbers?
Go ahead.
05.
Now, before we get into this, you heard that little whispering voice? That's Lamont L back there. That's his great voice in the background, who, again, he has no idea what he's talking about. Now, if we go and we look at these documents, one thing you are going to see is that they have written their fake Moorish, Mopish BS all over this. And you're going to see just how hard-headed and how dumb they are. Ignorant, arrogant. And you hear him talk through the whole thing. He's literally guiding her. He's feeding her the BS to talk to this court clerk. So here we go.
501 2020 39008.
All right, go ahead. What's your question?
So for these, I wanted to know if there was a judge who had a judgment, who filed a judgment.
No, it wasn't. That's not how this works.
Okay.
The attorney submit an affidavit letting the courts know what they want to happen to each case.
Okay, so who filed it?
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
The attorney that represents Iverson Towers submits an affidavit to the courts, telling the courts what they want to happen. Iverson Towers said at the time of court, you guys owe this money, so a judgment was submitted by the attorney for Iverson Towers.
So the attorney was the judge?
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Each landlord-tenant case. Sharon Goley, which is...
So before we go a little further, what this clerk is trying to explain to them is, because there's so many, this is right after the pandemic, mortuarium, the hold on evictions went away for this particular county and for this state. And so what's happening is now there's so many of these landlord tenant cases, these eviction cases. And so what they do is the lawyers for these places write up what they want done with their affidavit, and they send it in, and they literally go through them. They tell the judge and there is a judge, there is an administrative judge that oversees all this, but there's not a case. The judge doesn't have to sign it. What happens is the attorneys say, this is what we want to have done, and then it gets signed and stamped. and you'll hear this a little bit later. This clerk's going to explain this. The clerk literally explains this like 6 times. And you hear Mr. Lamont L., Mr. Wannabe Attorney General, Mr. I've got a huge criminal record in the back, literally just spoon feeding BS. So here we go.
The attorney for Iverson Towers submits an affidavit. There are probably 100 apartments in Iverson Towers, so they can't go through each one. They submit a packet, which is called an affidavit, that tells us what they want to happen to each case. In this particular case, they said that you guys owed rent, so they gave you a judgment for the amount that they owed.
So what did the court do?
So what did the court do? Well, they got to file that affidavit with the court. Okay, the court is going to sign this. All right, the judge or the administrative magistrate, whoever is overseeing this, will sign this, excuse me, packet. And then that way it goes into judgment. Okay, they say you owe this amount of rent. That's what you owe. It's not extortion. There is no extortion. These people owe rent. There it is right there. It shows that it's for the months. This is what their rent is per month. And this is the total they owe. Now, what they're trying to do is they're trying to get out, and I'm sure that there's a late fee in there, a $500 late fee, it looks like, if I'm reading that number right. But what's amazing in this is that's not extortion. That is rent that you owe. Okay? That is what you owe to not only this apartment building, but to also the fees you're going to owe to the court for them processing this. So it's not extortion. And that's not evidence of extortion. They don't know what extortion is. Now, again, listen to this lady. She's going to explain it over and over again.
What do you mean? The court will just oversee the eviction. So if you don't pay, the courts are going to send the paperwork to the sheriff for that person to be evicted.
Okay, so in this part right here, like she just said, if you don't pay this rent, then the courts are going to oversee the eviction. Okay? Court's going to send out the paperwork. That's going to be signed by the judge. It's going to be delivered to you that you're going to be evicted because you didn't pay this. All right? All this is doing is getting an administrative signature excuse me, from the court. I apologize for coughing in your ears. To the court to say, yes, this is what's owed. This is what is being done. There's no need to have a hearing because they've already proven you owe this money per that rental agreement. You owe them money. So there's no need for a case or to go to court.
There was no judge.
Again, he keeps bringing up, but there was no judge. This, again, shows how stupid he is. This also goes to show you how dangerous and stupid and idiotic this Moore Science Temple of Thinking and Teaching is. This right here. You keep hearing him. He keeps repeating the same thing. Now, here's my thing, Mr. Lamont, and I will gladly go toe-to-toe with you and destroy you and everything you try to bring up. If it's so important to you to say this, why are you not making the phone call? Why aren't you on the phone arguing this? Oh, that's right, because you've already been in trouble with the law a few times. All right, so here, let's continue on.
Okay, so there was no judge. I mean, I'm just trying to get clarification,
No, there
man.
is a judgment. What you're thinking is that an actual judge goes in there and puts the judgment in. That's not how it works. The attorney for Iverson Towers submits what's called an affidavit. On that affidavit lists all the cases that are in court that day. They tell us what they want to happen. On what day was this court date? On October 8th, if you still owe rent, they submitted an affidavit saying you still owe rent. So you got a judgment against you.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
It says that it's not valid unless signed by a judge, and there is no
Correct.
signature.
You should see a signature down there that says Lisa Hall Johnson.
There was no judge.
But there was no.
So that's all they need, because now here's the other thing. These idiotic, incompetent Mopes is because all the paperwork now, because of the pandemic, a lot of courts were forced to go electronic, updating their systems, how documents are signed. And yes, a digital signature is a legal signature. It doesn't have to be handwritten or wet inked or any of that. An electronic signature, which that is right there. See this? That is the command to drop in this electric signature of Lisa Hall Johnson. That is the signature. Now, you're going to hear him again. He's going to say something about the signature. There was no judge. Again, the lady has already said there does not have to be a judge. There's already a signature on it right here by Lisa Hall Johnson. Okay? So, all right. So let's find out. All right. So this is who Lisa Johnson is. She's the district administrative judge for the District Court of Maryland, District 5, Prince George County. So there's the judge. She's been the judge since January 6, 2017. She was an associate judge since July 22, 2013, and the domestic violence coordinating judge. So she is a judge. So that incompetent idiot that he is, Mr. Lamont, because that's who's back there. There's no judge. There's no judge. There's no judge. Well, we just proved, and I'm going to put it right here in the comments. All right. Lisa Johnson is the administrative judge for the district court. All right. Plain and simple. There's no other need to look for this anywhere else. She is the district administrative judge. She is the judge. So in my boobs, it's amazing how, again, just they talk about the research and go out here and claim your nationality, but don't do any of the research to realize who these people are that you're dealing with. So again, Lisa Hall Johnson is who? Oh, that's right. She's the administrative district judge. Now, hang on one second, because, and again, I understand these people think they're doing right, but they're not. And all in all, that's the sad thing about this, is they are really just going out there and trying to cause this fallacy. And the sad thing is this woman, this girl that's on the phone, she is probably really smart. And what the sad part is, one of her friends or somebody said to her, "Oh, you got to check out this group. This group right here. They're going to keep you from this and that." So here's what I'm doing. They don't know the law. And the dumbass is in this. There's a Dorian Jamal Brown Bay. He doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. But since they don't want to do any of their own research, and it's from the Enforce the Constitution bunch of idiots. These guys are based out of Maryland. So here we go. Let's continue on.
No, Judge, this is
No. So you're getting the process confused. That's totally different. Lisa Hall Johnson is just administrative. All that is a stamp. The clerk's process goes and stamp it with her name. That's it.
Because she is an administrative judge. The clerks have the authority, because, again, administrative paperwork, that's administrative. You can go say, but there's not a judge. Underneath here, it says judge. She is a judge, dumbass. Again, your lack of knowledge is what destroys you. There, right there, judge or clerk, and that's the judge.
There would not be one on there. Only thing that needs to be signed on that is Lisa Hardon.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Mr. Johnson or Mr. Lamont needs to shut it down. Again, evidence of no valid signature and fraud. There's none of that. That is wrong. Evidence of extortion. That is not extortion. That is the money you owe for your back rent. That's what you owe. This here does not need to be signed and dated. It doesn't. Again, they don't understand the process. They don't understand how any of this works. Again, it just shows how hard-headed they are. Like, my kids are hard-headed, but I guarantee you, if I say it 2 or 3 times, by the 3rd time they understand what I'm talking about. These are grown individuals that don't get it. And if you don't get it, don't try to go off on your Moorish playbook, because that's not going to help you understand it either. You don't understand what you're trying to do, because if you understood what you're doing, you'd realize that what you're doing is fraud. And it's theft, and it's illegal. That's why you keep doing it. You don't understand. And she's absolutely right. This lady's absolutely right. You need to consult an attorney because you have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, they maybe can explain the process a little bit better to you.
No, I'm a foreign national, ma'am.
There it is. There it is.
Jesus Christ.
I'm a foreign national. No, you're not. You are not a foreign national. Because you know why? You're not. You're not a foreign national. Right here. Let's look. What is a foreign national? Person who is not a naturalized citizen of the country in which they are living. Well, I'm betting you are, because you were born here. So what does that mean? Hang on. Let me think. If you're born here, you're a U.S. citizen, you're naturalized. You are a naturalized citizen. Right here, here's another one, gives you a little bit more definition. It said a foreign national is any person, including an organization, who is not a national of a specific country. For example, in the United States and its territories, a foreign national is something or someone who is neither a citizen nor a national of the United States. The same applies in Canada. Well, you are a citizen. You're a U.S. citizen. Right here. You are not a foreign national. This is what a foreign national is. You know, wasn't there that song back in the day about teaching the world harmony and all that? Give the world a Coke. Right here, foreign national. If you can't understand it, then if you don't know what a foreign national is, then don't open your mouth and say you're one or you're not one. You are not a foreign national. And you know, because I love coming to their page, there's a foreign national. That you are not a foreign national. Oh my God. You know, I've put on this a couple times when I hear this on their videos. I ask them, so you're a foreign national. Well, how are you a foreign national? Because if you're a foreign national, you wouldn't be a citizen of the United States. I guarantee you still have your U.S. citizenship. Did you go through the State Department and renounce your U.S. citizenship? But to renounce your U.S. citizenship, you have to have another country that you're a citizen of. But I know you're not a citizen of Morocco. over in Africa or Morocco. You can't claim that citizenship. Indigenous. Huh.
Yes, the other case was the last 5 digits. It's the same 4 digits at the top, but it's the last 5 is 39008.
Okay, so that's the one you gave me first. That's the one I just pulled up.
Okay, let me see what the other one. 15532.
Okay.
Now, that is the same exact thing. They owe money. They owe back rent. It's the same thing. Plain and simple. It's not an Article 3 quarter case, so they still need to be there. If they don't show up, they'll probably get a bench warrant. She'll get a bench warrant issued for her because the ARC. This isn't fraud. Again, I got to go to their site because they upload all this stuff, and I want to see if that document's there because they wrote all over this stuff, and my kids aren't this dumb. Kids are not this dumb. Oh, and if you want to know, they're running another stupid web series called they're doing evidence of mortgage and foreclosure fraud, which was held a couple days ago. And then, yeah. So, it's sad that I'm looking at this and, the problem with this is I don't even know how to really talk about it because these are grown men and women that are having this issue. When I look at this stuff, and here's Lamont. Here we go. I found his paperwork, so I'll have to print it out, and because I was going to do a video on him as well. He keeps trying to say, but that's a different story. We could literally go all day talking about these guys and the bull and the BS that I don't think it would go into a foreclosure case. That's their mortgage fraud thing that they're trying to do. However, there is some more information coming up for that one case that he tried to say was lack of jurisdiction or whatever. But again, I do not see the paperwork that I'm looking for here. Maybe they haven't uploaded it. Maybe it's just that old. There's so much it's just hopefully I'll be able to get these documents because I want to see what they wrote on them because it would be quite interesting. Let's go ahead and get through this video here.
What's your question on this case?
So there was no.
Okay, so again, the same thing we've been talking about now is there's no judge. There was no judge to issue. So that is going to be their claim. Oh, there was no judge. Again, this lady has gone way above and beyond to answer this.
No judge, basically the same thing. There was no judge that issued.
Dumbass! You dumbass! You're a dumbass. Such a dumbass. You're an ass.
Judge, she's over all of the courts in PG County. All that is a stamp. We as the clerks, we process this. We are authorized.
Now, that right there, evidence of no valid signature and fraud, that is not true. Again, if you look at what is considered a signature, electronic signatures are legal. In this day and age, they are legal. I would say, excuse me, let's see here. Electronic signatures became legal in 2000, so 22 years ago. This is when they became legal. And matter of fact, it says, with the passage of the United States Electronic Signatures in Global and National Commerce, ESIG, Act in 2000, electronic signatures became legal in every state and U.S. territory where federal laws applies. When federal law does not apply, most U.S. states have adopted the Uniform Electronic Transactions Act, UETA. Now, right there. That's. I mean, I don't know what more you want from there, but that is a legal signature. So, again, seeing something like this, that's that dumbass. That's that.
Dumbass! You dumbass! You're a dumbass. Such a dumbass. You're an ass.
That is legit. This BS, this red BS that they like to use is BS. Here's the thing is they're trying to operate 300-400 years ago in the law. We're looking at current times. Current time state in 2000, electronic signature is legal. It does not have to be a quote unquote wet ink signature anymore. So again, dismissed, old, that doesn't work anymore.
To stamp her name on the form.
Okay, but you're saying that the attorney made the judgment.
Again, she didn't listen before in the beginning where this lady has said, no, what happens is the attorneys file the affidavit for the apartment building. There's so many different apartments. Instead of filing individual ones, they do a packet. And they probably put a spreadsheet in there that goes down and says, hey, this apartment, these people, we want this. This apartment, these people, we want this. This apartment, these people, we want this. And then what happens is they send that to the judge. Okay, they send that in. Lisa Hall Johnson, who's an administrative judge for the whole entire district, okay, for that court, which is District Court 5, she oversees all that. That's administrative right there, this paperwork. So they go in, the clerks, and they enter in all this information into this document, what's owed and all that, okay? They get everything around, and when they're done, they stamp Lisa Hall Johnson's electronic signature, which is legal, to the document because this is an administrative function. So the administrative judge takes care of this. And then they send those out. That's how that works. Now, again, say 30% of the people in that packet, that affidavit packet, paid what they had to, but the other 70% didn't. Now, same thing's going to happen at this point. The attorneys are going to file out that affidavit, and they're going to say, yep, start eviction claim, start eviction notice, start eviction notice, start eviction notice. That's where the paperwork's going to be generated by the court. It's going to go before a judge to get signed because now they got to go to the sheriff to go post these eviction notices out on the door of these apartments. There, you will actually have a judge signature on it because now you're starting the eviction process. So, again, two completely different processes that follow different lines. Lisa Johnson is an administrative judge, plain and simple. There's no other way around it. I honestly believe that the problem is they've been brainwashed. And I go back to what I've said before, is I honestly truly believe that the people that seriously believe in this have either been brought up in households from the very beginning with this way of thought. It's like what I say about hate. Hate is a taught behavior to kids. If they're taught to hate something from their parents and grandparents and family, then they're going to carry that hate with them, where it's the same thing. I believe the majority of these people grow up in this structure that think this is legal, this is legit. And the other side of it is there are people who are just on bad times in their life. And somebody has said to them, oh, yeah, if you claim your nationality and you do this and you do that, you don't have to pay any of this. And it's all 100% legal because we're indigenous and aboriginous to the land. So they think that okay, yeah, I'll do this. And now I just file this or say this or talk like this, and I don't have to pay it anymore. So I think there's a portion of people that have just fallen on bad times, have not been dealt a good hand in life at that time, and they're just looking for a way out. And this sounds good, that common sense part of their brain doesn't kick in to overtake, the stress and the pain and the mental anguish they've been dealing with. It can't voice over and say, hey, this is not a good idea. This is not legal. Where those voices are saying, oh yeah, do that so you don't have to pay this anymore. That's what I honestly believe. I think that's why these people think this makes sense. And again, the only way to really stop this, again, we know there's a hotbed of this sitting in Chicago. That's where the USAR is located. We know there's a hotbed of this in Maryland. That's where the Enforce the Constitution group is from. We know there's a hotbed of it in North Carolina because that's where the wannabe Empress is. I honestly believe that if these prosecutors and the FBI and such and the State Department started really to investigate these people and started making it nationally known. I mean, back in 2011, between 2011 and 2015, it was pretty well known. I mean, it was on the news quite a bit about them squatting in houses and the fake liens and the quit claim deeds and all of that stuff. But see, now they try to do it this way through the courts. And I think along with making it public and going after these people and making arrests, major arrests, because there's felony. They have actually, the higher ups in these organizations have actually committed treason. They're impersonating U.S. officials on the federal level. And so they're doing it on the state level as well. I'm the AG of this or I'm the governor. No, you're not. You're not. You decided one day you were going to be the governor. But you're not the governor. You're not the legally elected or duly elected official that won the governor's race to be the governor of that state. You're not an attorney general. You're not a marshal. You hold no power. And I think once courts and the police and the FBI get tired of hearing from people like us, that I'll tell you, once a month, I find a state that's running with these problems or a city, and I start sending them information packets. Like I'll go and research them and say, look, here's the laws in your state they're violating. Here's how many counts I've seen now. And I'll, 5 videos that I've watched from these people. Here they are. I'll pull the background check on a person and include that in the packet to these government officials. And I think once they start acting on that stuff and they start doing actual investigations and they start going after them and start putting them behind bars, this will start to stop. And people that are thinking about this, and I give this to Facts or Frauds, he always brings this up and he talks about it a lot, about he puts the laws into his videos. He shows it, so does Vaughn and a few others. And I'm starting to do it more as well. But as soon as we stop playing the game, when police are told, look, you ask once. If they start that, stop asking and go what you got to go. They didn't want to give you the driver's license, registration, insurance. They start their soft sit. Nope, done. Out of the car. You're failing to ID. The thing you gave me is fake. It's not legal. It's not a legal form of ID. So we're going to take that as evidence, and then after your court case, we're going to destroy it because it's illegal. And what they need to do is these people, because that's a fraudulent ID, is what they need to do is arrest the people making these IDs, these fake passports, these fake papers. Once that starts happening, more and more of this, when the higher ups get nabbed, there'll be a few that try to backfill, but the rest of them are just going to be like, yeah, I don't want that. And what they don't realize is, I appreciate that. I'm going to be hitting on this whole thing with Tamara and the Nubian Moors. I've got a bunch of paperwork on 2 different sets of individuals that say they are the king and queen of that royal family. So there'll be a video coming out about that. But what I was saying here is, once more and more people, and I think there's got to be heavier fines for this kind of stuff, or heavier sentences. You know, there's the one more that finally he saw the light, and he's like paying them $2,000-$3,000 and 5 years of my time and nothing. None of it works. It's all fraud. It's all fiction. None of it is legit. It doesn't work. The passport card, the ID card, the nationality card, whatever they want to call it, does not work. It's fake. You're not tax exempt. You don't have diplomatic immunity. You don't get put on this super secret do not detain list. None of that is legit. But the sad part is they've convinced people. They've bamboozled them to believe that, hey, yeah, this is legit. Go ahead. Yeah, just claim your nationality. Well, you already have a nationality. You can't claim another one until you renounce the other one, unless you hold dual citizenship, which none of these people do. They always talk about, nope, I'm a foreign national. Well, no, you're not a foreign national. You're not. Because you got to belong to another country and be over here to be a foreign national. You know what a foreign national is? A foreign national is a student from Asia that's over here on a student visa. That's a foreign national. That is a foreign national. All right. So I apologize. Busy time of the day. It's noon. Turn that down. There we go. So again, they continuously push this idea. But if we start, doing the raids, bringing these people, these high-level people in the court, filing the impersonation charges against them, and getting DAs and prosecutors that are willing to go the full extent, and not just bring them to court and throw them out with a fine. No. Bring them in the court, throw them in jail for a bit. Because I'll tell you what, I'm going to do a video on some of these laws from the USAR. And when you look at the paperwork, okay, the front and back paperwork, the people that say they're governors, Supreme Court justices, AGs, marshals, it's ridiculous. But they're getting away with it because nobody is going after them. And honestly, if you go after the ringleaders, Christopher Cannon Bay, Anna Von Wright, she's on the state national side of things. You know, the Sov Sits, that's where she's at. But if you start taking out those people at the top of these groups, guess what? Slowly, you'll watch the power grab happen. And those groups, those organizations will fall apart. You go after these people that say they're attorney generals. You're not an attorney general. No way, shape, or form are you an attorney general. In your mind, you think you are. On a website, because somebody typed it in there for you, says you are. But you're not. And that's where it comes from. So yes, they do believe it's a delusional thought. Exactly. Using the paper terrorism laws against them. And that's the main thing and that's a great point, Rage, is to start using those paper terrorist laws against them. Start using the federal call. You know, I tell you what, if they carted the upper level echelon of the USAR into federal court just on the impersonation of a public officer, and then there's one other charge. Each one of those under Title 18, USC Title 18, each one of those carry a minimum of a 5-year sentence in federal prison. Well, guess what? Throw their asses in there. Now, granted, is it a crime? Is it a violent crime? Well, if you listen to some of Christopher Cannon's videos, he gets really close to violence. He's talking about overthrowing the government. It's just like what Anna Von Wright has done too. She does it in her own little grandma-looking way, you know, that grandma voice, and this. But she is the leader of that group. They are the higher-ups. I just don't understand how she has not been carted off to the federal court in Fairbanks, Alaska, or Anchorage for her BS. Because she's inciting to overthrow the U.S. government. That's treason. That is a treasonous offense. During non-wartime, that is a treasonous offense. So here you have this higher up group of people talking about doing this. But again, they're not at the top of the radar, but they should be pushed to the top, because what's happening is they're slowly building their numbers in secret. But I'll tell you what, you start arresting some of these people like Mr. Lamont, and you start putting him in federal prison because he's saying he's an attorney general, guess what? Bye-bye, Mr. Lamont. There went your person, that one of them who has some aura that draws these idiots in. And I'll tell you what, you need to really look at things. If somebody in this organization approaches you and says, oh yeah, you just claim your nationality, the first thing you should do is like sit back and listen to the bullshit come out their mouths. Because when he talks about nationality and he starts talking about, oh yeah, your claims to the land and indigenous and we have this and we have that, look right at him and say, so do you have hard proof? Can you show me hard proof that hard proof, not something you find off the internet or something you're going to type up or something from RV Bay Productions, but show me hard proof where it states you, by your name, not your made up name, but you by your name are indigenous. What tribe do you belong to that is recognized in the United States as an indigenous tribe? Because when I hear one more person mispronounce Cherokee as Cherokee or Cherokee, I'm not Cherokee Indian, but that's an insult to those people. BS all the way around. And see, that's the sad part. If you look at Nettie, and I know I'm kind of going off key here, we'll get right back to the video. If you look at Nettie, Miss I Want to Be an Empress, and all her BS, she says Cherokee or Cherokee or whatever. But to the layman terms, if you don't hear how they're mispronouncing that, it's Cherokee. They are literally trying to say that they are a part of the Cherokee Indians, but they call it Cherokee or Cherokee or whatever. It should be Chokyu. In the Chokee is what it should be. But again, we have to go after these people and hold them accountable for the false information that they're spreading. Now, you know, it was Truth Science 151 made a great point. He said, you know, if it wasn't broadcasted on YouTube or the internet, they wouldn't have the fanfare that they have. Hardly anybody would know about it. You would have to catch it on a news story or in a paper that picked up a story. He goes, but because they have this, people don't realize that what she's doing is illegal. They, you know, I'm sure there's people that cheer that and have no idea what they're cheering for. So, all right, let's get going here.
No, you're getting this confused. So what you're looking at the bottom, Lisa Hall Johnson, I'm not sure what form you're looking at. If you're looking at a warrant of restitution or the actual failure to pay.
Petition for warrant of restitution.
Okay, so this at the bottom is just a signature saying that we've reviewed everything on this piece of paper and it's correct.
So, because these clerks that work for District Court 5 in the state of Maryland in Prince George County, they have the authority given to them. Now, here's where a declaration of authority works. Okay, this is how declarations of authority work. Lisa Hall Johnson wrote up a declaration of authority and said these county clerks, once they review and verify this information on these forms, have the authority to place my name on these forms as it being reviewed and verified. That's a declaration of authority. So if anybody wants to know, that's what a declaration of authority is. Not this BS that people ask for. Well, where's your declaration of authority order? That's not how it works. That's not what a declaration of authority is. Cops already have declaration authority by the city, county, state, and township that they're hired in and work for. That's how that works. Pretty simple. Same thing here. The declaration of authority order came from Judge Hall Johnson. She wrote it up. She gave her clerks the authority through the declaration of authority to use her name, that stamp, once they to mark that document as reviewed and verified. That's how declaration of authority order works.
It's the amount that the attorney submitted for you to get a judgment against.
But there was no judge.
It's not a judge has nothing to do with this. If you owe money at the time, the attorney for Iverson Towers submitted what's called an affidavit saying you owe this money.
Now, you hear that? Now, you hear Lamont in the background. Again, Lamont, if you see this video, and I'll hashtag your little group, if it was that important to you, you should have made the phone call, buddy. Not be the mouthpiece behind this girl, who for some reason is believing you that this stuff is legit, that you circled and read and wrote out your BS. The whole thing about this is it's the money you owe. They're giving you the opportunity to pay the money that you owe to the apartments, because this is part of the legal process that if you don't pay, that starts evictions. Okay, it starts the eviction process. That's what this is all about. And you keep hearing him. Keep hearing, excuse me. Keep hearing him in the background. There's no judge. There's no signature. There's no judge. There's no signature. Well, Mr. Lamont, if you would have did the research that I did for you and posted on your channel under this video, you would have seen Lisa Hall Johnson is a judge. She's an administrative judge for that court. So she is a judge, and there is a judge's signature because it's an electronic signature, and that is legal in the state of Maryland. So again, your whole wet ink signature, actually, technically, if you think about it, that was wet ink at one time. If it was printed off a inkjet, that's wet. That's ink. Got one right here. That's wet ink. If someone tries to say, well, you printed it off your printer with your signature, yeah, it's wet ink. It uses liquid to produce that. So it's a wet ink signature. Again, they live in the past because they think those laws that have been outdated and replaced and updated are the laws that are going to win the day for them. And they're actually the laws that are going to put them behind bars because they don't know what they're talking about. It goes to this.
Dumbass! You dumbass! You're a dumbass. Such a dumbass. You're an ass.
Oh, shoot.
0-0.
That's it. Free attorney where they maybe can explain the process a little bit better to you. She's over all of the courts in PG County. All that is a stamp. We as the clerks, we process this. We are authorized to stamp her name on the form.
Okay, but you're saying that the attorney made the judgment.
No, you're getting this confused.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
The warrant of restitution or the actual failure to pay.
Petition for a warrant of restitution.
Okay, so this at the bottom is just a...
Now, you see how they wrote up there, not a judgment, not a warrant? That is a judgment, you idiot. They're giving you the chance to pay this money. That's one judgment. The next judgment will be when they file the eviction paperwork to start to evict your ass out of those apartments. That'll be the next judgment that happens. There's one judgment that if you don't follow it, will lead to the next judgment, which will be your eviction.
Signature saying that we've reviewed everything on this piece of paper and it's correct. That is the amount that the attorney submitted for you to get a judgment against.
But there was no judge.
There was a judge. I know I've said this 100 times. Again, it shows how stupid, hard-headed, arrogant, ignorant that these people are. That this group of dunces are. All they had to do is go to the Google machine and type in, who is Lisa Hall Johnson? I found it in 3 seconds.
It's not a judge has nothing to do with this. If you owe money at the time, the attorney for Iverson Towers submitted what's called an affidavit saying you owe this money. You don't have to go in front of a judge. A judge name is not going to be on it. Lisa Hall Johnson does not even work in high school. She's an administrative judge for all of Prince George's County.
So did you just hear that? And then you hear that person go, eh. Did you fart? She just said she's an administrative judge. She has the authority to sign that paperwork. It's amazing. It's amazing.
We're just authorized to use her name because that's who the authority is.
Okay, so just to be clear, I just want to make sure. So there was no there was no judge that.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
If that's what she wanted to do.
Okay.
When they come to court, because there's so many cases, the attorney, they usually meet the attorney in the hallway. If she showed up, I'm not sure if she did. If she showed up, she would meet the attorney in the hall. The attorney would either take receipts from her showing proof of payment, that payment was made before the court date, or they would enter an affidavit saying she still owes this money.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much. Who am I speaking to?
Not a problem. You have a great day.
Who am I speaking to, Miss? T.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
I
Not a
appreciate it. Bye bye.
I don't know what to tell you guys. I mean, literally, you can hear the frustration in my voice. And I know that lady on the phone is like, you've got to be kidding me. How just thick-skulled are you to not hear what I've said over and over and over again? And, you know, it's just amazing. It is 100% just amazing to hear them constantly. Well, there's no judge. There was no judge. There was no judge. And the lady kept explaining it to him. And this guy is such a dumbass, in the words of Red Foreman, that he couldn't even comprehend what this woman was telling him. The woman that deals with this 24/7, 365 at the county. He couldn't comprehend that in his mind, that what she had said. So he just kept going and going and going and going and going with the same stuff over and over and over again. And so I don't know if they thought when they got off the phone they won some victory or something, but hearing him in the background sounded creepy as shit. So what I'm guessing happened is the girl's on her phone. He's on his phone recording everything. She's on speaker, obviously. They didn't notify. Now, I don't know if Maryland is a one consent. I will look here. Okay, so this is okay. Is it legal to record a conversation in Maryland? This ensures that the rights of the Maryland individual have been fully protected under their state law. Under nearly every type of situation in the state, it is often illegal to record any type of conversation or phone call when the individual is not a party to the conversation. So I guess what I'm looking for is, you know, how many people have to consent to, you know, to that? Because again, here they are sitting, they're recording this, and not once did I hear, I mean, I heard the whole call, and so did you guys, but not once did I hear them say, oh, by the way, we're letting you know that we're video and audio recording this phone call. So Maryland has a law, and it's all parties. So all parties have to consent. It's not a one-party state. The Wiretapping and Electronic Surveillance Acts holds that it is unlawful to willingly intercept, endeavor to intercept, or procure any other person to intercept or endeavor to intercept any wire, oral, electronic communication, willfully disclose or endeavor to disclose to any other person the contents of any wire, oral, or electronic communication, knowing or having reason to know that the information was obtained through the intercept of a wire, oral, or electronic communication. So the only thing at the bottom it says, however, it is lawful to intercept a wire, oral, or electronic communication where the person is a party to the communication and where all the parties to the communication have given prior consent. So in that phone call, the recording, what he did was illegal as well. And that girl who was on that side of the recording, she's an accessory to that. So he broke, I mean, again, these people don't care about laws. That's pretty obvious. But they broke that law too. So, you know, again, here they are. not comprehending. They keep running the same thing. You keep hearing him say, well, there's no judge, there's no judgment. No, there is a judge. She told you that in the last like 30 seconds of the video, and then you hear him go, huh? Well, yeah, she's a judge. She's an administrative judge. She sees all the district courts in Prince George County. She's in charge of all of those. That's why those clerks, because I'm sure, I don't know how big Prince George County is, but however many cities are in that area, could be large cities or medium-sized cities, but there may be a district court office in there. And if that's the case, then, that's what does it. So, I'm here. Let's see how many, So there are, district court has offices in Hyattsville and Upper Marlboro. Trials for any misdemeanor offenses that carries more than 90 days in jail has a right to trial by jury for any district court. So again, Prince George County is pretty big. Just taking a look at it, and it borders the eastern portion of Washington, D.C. as well. So the population is almost 1 million people. That was back in 2020. So decent-sized county. So, again, she's in charge of the district court in Hyattsville and the district court in Upper Marlboro. So she may not be at one office. She may be at the other. And when you heard him and she said, well, she doesn't work here. She works. And he made that comment. And I was like, dude, what are you, an idiot? So again, this just proves how hard-headed these Mopes really are, that they can't comprehend, the basis of simple, easy-to-understand law. It sounded like what she was trying to do was get out of paying the back rent that she owed. Because, again, Moors think that they don't have to pay rent. They don't have to pay any bills. There's some secret trust somewhere that no one has found. But again, this is what they're taught, so this is what we get. So again, I thank everybody for joining me here. I hope you enjoy my new little avatar. Please let me know what you think down in the comments. Be sure to hit that like, subscribe, share our videos out, and hit the bell so you know when we have our next live video so you can be part of the live chat. I do appreciate everybody for joining in. And this is Doc for Doc taking on the Mormish. The clinic is closed. You had your dose. We are out. Have a good one.